Hello and welcome, everybody. We're just going to allow the Zoom to do its thing and populate everyone as they're signing on. Welcome, welcome. So glad you can spend some time with us. Maybe you're having lunch. Maybe you're just taking a break in your day, whatever it is. So happy that you're making yourself and this time a priority. So get yourself settled, grab something to drink. And we'll be starting momentarily. Okay. Well, I guess it's officially afternoon, so I'll say good afternoon. Welcome to our Women's Empowerment Network, which is known as WEN on the Go. And today we are gathered as part of our financial wellness series. This is the second part of our series, and I'm so grateful to have this time with you today. I am Helen Arcantu. I'm the CEO of the YWCA of Northern New Jersey. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And I can't think of a better thing to be doing today at this time than us all sharing this time together. In case you did not know, our WEN on the Go events offer professional women, small business owners, and women who just want to stay connected to topics that impact their lives. It allows us an opportunity to network, to exchange ideas, and to get actionable advice so that together we can grow professionally and personally. Our WEN on the Go financial wellness series, which originally launched this past July, brings together experts from the financial world, mental health professionals, life coaches, and just a lot of really great women. And the goal of this gathering, which obviously today is virtual, is to help women understand money matters better. I'm so proud to kick off today's event with two amazing speakers. We have Tara Tomasi and Amy Minkoff with us, and they will both guide us through this conversation about why financial wellness is so important to the overall success of all of us who are entrepreneurs. And, even if you're not in that entrepreneurial space, and I'll say yet, because, for so many that little side hustle that eventually might turn into your full hustle, is sometimes something that's floating around your brain, but actually hasn't landed yet. And we hope that this time today helps kind of grow the potential for you. I want to do a special shout out to our sponsors for today's event, TD Bank and Veris Residential. We are so incredibly grateful for your support. I also want to do a shout out to our team at the YW, starting with Alicia Maxey Green, who is the magic behind the scenes to plan and pull something like this together, an entire communications and marketing team that pushes it out and helps us broadcast today. I also want to let you know that if you are doing any kind of tweeting or posting about today's event, you can use the hashtag YWWhenOnTheGo. We'll drop that hashtag in the comments so that you have it as well. Before we begin, a little housekeeping. As I said, I hope you have something to drink or eat, something just to kind of relax. You're in a comfortable space where you can kind of zone out whatever's happening around you and just focus on the great words that we're going to get today from Tara and from Amy. If you do have a question during the course of the next hour, we do encourage you to share it at the, you can, during the course of the conversation, you can drop it into the Q&A box. And at the end of the discussion, we will make time to answer any questions. You can also feel free to, follow along and chat with us in the chat box. Let us know what you're thinking, what resonates with you, what struck a chord as we're chatting. It's a great opportunity to let us know what you're thinking during the course of the conversation. And we do hope that before we leave each other today, that you do take a moment to answer our survey. We'll have a link posted in the chat box for you at the end of the event. Please know that your input and your suggestions really do allow us to design these programs so that they best support you and your needs. And we look at your responses closely and take them into account. And so with that, I'm going to start to introduce our two speakers, starting with Tara Tomasini. She is Vice President and Store Manager at the Westwood location. She has been a member of the TD Bank family, which was formerly Commerce Bank, since 2001, beginning her career as a part-time teller and repeatedly being promoted throughout her years to her current position, where she's held since 2019. She is passionate about helping others, especially women, achieve their goals and is experienced in many facets of the bank. She prides herself on building positive relationships with customers and the community, which is clearly, it's, proven by her making the time to be here with us today. In her duties as store manager, she is also a member of TD's Women in Leadership program, and she serves as a point person for TD's small business pillar. So clearly she has a lot to bring to this discussion today. Welcome, Tara. So happy you could join us.
Thank you, Helen. I am so excited to be part of this presentation today.
Well, and we're right alongside of you, we have Amy Minkoff, the Happy Success Catalyst. Who doesn't love that name? She has been a success coach since 2009. She has 50 plus years of life wisdom. I love that. And 25 years in consumer marketing and new product development. That has helped inform her coaching expertise. She is certified by the Institute of Professional Excellence in Coaching, as well as the Brave Thinking Institute. Amy helps visionary leaders, professionals, and business owners take their work and their life to the next level for even more success, and with that, more happiness. She has an MBA from Columbia Business School and her undergraduate degree from the University of Virginia. Amy is a master practitioner of Energy Leadership Index, a unique assessment tool that helps clients improve their results. We do ask everyone to mute themselves, just so that everyone can stay focused on the speakers when they're talking. And going back to Amy, before we wrap up her intro, she delivers her work via keynote speaking engagements, workshops, and VIP coaching and team building. And she has a special offer for us that we're going to talk about later in the hour. And so with that, welcome, Amy.
Thank you. I'm also thrilled to be here with you today.
So let's jump right in, because what I do know is that the hour goes quick, and that there's so much to pack in. And I also, know that you all, there's so much to share. And if we don't get to all of it, we want to make sure and that everyone knows how to find the two of you, which we will make sure that that's why we wanted you to know where Amy and Tara come from, so that you all can stay connected to them. But let's jump in. So Amy, let's start with you.
Yes.
So we know that being an entrepreneur takes more than just an idea, right? I mean, we know it takes a plan, and that plan has to be actionable, and it really has to be emotionally well thought out to kind of get us on our way. So when we're, starting our business and thinking through kind of our idea, what are some of the most important things that we should consider? Because as I said, some of the folks on here may be in it already, but others may just have something percolating, and they're trying to figure out what to do with what's gnawing at them in their head.
Absolutely. And what I'm going to say right now applies whether this is just an idea that's percolating or something that you've already begun to embark on. And that is really, it's the first step in the system of transformation I use with my clients. It's a 10-step system. And the first thing is to create a vision. That is the first thing we do. And you want it to be crystal clear. And what we must partner with that vision is a committed decision to take action around that vision, because in the absence of that decision, all we have is an idea that will float or end up on a shelf. And a couple of things about how to do it is to ask yourself what you would love in terms of the results. This includes financial, sales, profit, the impact you're making, and what the experience will be like for you and your clients or customers, and why this is important to you. And the last thing I want to say about this is when you ask what you would love, it's not thinking about what the external conditions appear to dictate or what you think you're capable of, which is usually not as much as we can do, and also not what people tell us is possible. What we would love is really what we're given in terms of our dream and our longings, and it ties up with our maximum potential. And that's why your vision combined with convicted decision is the most important thing to start with.
Yes, yes. And it's that vision, that's that individuality, that idea, right? That's what makes it special and different from others,
Yes.
for
Yes.
sure. So it's so important to be rooted in it.
It is. And to that point about the specialness and the uniqueness for each of us, when I work with people, I offer a 5-point test, not to validate that the vision itself is good enough, or that let me say that better, not to validate that we're good enough for the vision, but that the vision is grand enough to match us in our potential.
I love that. I love that. Talk about like breathing it all in and filling yourself up, right? And kind of
Exactly.
letting it fill up the space that you're taking up,
Mhm.
which, for each of us really is bigger than we sometimes think or let ourselves,
That's exactly right.
take up. So, with that, and we hear this a lot from women, right? It's just a standard answer of like, when's the right time? When is the right time to do something like this?
Mhm.
So what is it? When is the right time?
Yeah, well, one answer is now, to claim now is my time. But what really is behind knowing that now is my time? What's behind that is when the burning desire to do it exceeds the fear of the possible risk or pain of taking the action. And this is my guidance. If you wait for the fear to disappear, you will never, ever do it. And so when I work with people, what I'm doing is helping them navigate, transform, and befriend that fear so it serves them in taking action on their vision, even when fear shows up. And fear is good news because it means you're on the edge of the life you've known up until now. And the magic happens when we cross that line.
Well, that's such a great reframe about fear. Because, usually that's one of those things that we tend to run from, right? So
Exactly.
it's such a great visual to kind of like look at it straight in the eyes and kind of, move past it for sure. And Stephanie loves your quote and said, we should be repeating that. It sounds like something you should write and put on your about facing fear, and having it, when you're kind of on the edge of not being able to close your eyes to that change anymore. It sounds like one of those things you should write on a Post-it note and put on your bathroom mirror, and so that you can read it every morning.
Absolutely. Affirmations and having them in our frontal view on a regular basis is very supportive. Great idea.
So what type of emotional system should an entrepreneur have in place to help them navigate their journey? Because it is a different journey than, choosing, kind of a different financial route for yourself.
Absolutely. So I call this emotional support system a transformation trifecta. So of course it has 3 parts. So imagine a triangle with 3 corners. And in the upper corner is the vision, which I already spoke about. It's like our North Star. Then in the next corner of the triangle is a mindset mentor or a success coach. And this person is professionally trained in inspiring others, offering tools and strategies, and really helping someone course correct when the going gets tough. And they're ideally using a system. And so that's the second part after the vision, is the mindset mentor. And the third part of the trifecta is a structure of support. And what that means is consistency and repetition, ideally within a system of transformation that's been proven and utilized in the real world, such as the one I use with my clients. And then what needs to be done is to put yourself inside of that trifecta. And when you do, watch out what happens in your world.
Well, that is some framework, some framework. I mean, and with the name, with it having so prominently named, it's something that we can all remember, remember for sure.
Yeah.
So, in terms of kind of getting that framework set in our minds, what are some of the strategies that we can employ to help reinforce it?
Well, there are so many. I've got a large toolbox, but I thought about some of my favorites that I can share now. So to me, there's a power of 3. So I've got 3 ideas for everyone. I'll say them and I'll speak into each one briefly. So the first is to create a daily to-be list before you create a to-do list. The second is to adopt a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. And the third is to be willing to view failures as stepping stones to success. So the to-be list is about coming from the vision. If you decide that you're a woman who creates a successful business, you can be that person by asking yourself, what is her attitude, and adopt the attitude. What is she thinking about and focusing on? And how is she holding herself in the world? And by that, I mean, what kind of posture does she have and what kind of facial expression is she presenting to the world? So that's how you create a to-be list. Second, adopting a growth mindset. A growth mindset is one where we focus on success, what's working, expansive ideas, as opposed to conditions, what's not working, what's wrong, and what we're not doing. And how you can start practicing that right away is every day, look at your day and identify 3 successes that you've had. We're so trained to look at what we don't do. And so I encourage you to start that. And finally, transforming failures into stepping stones. Napoleon Hill said, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, every adversity has in it a seed of greater potential and opportunity. Thomas Edison, when he invented the light bulb, the one that could be mass produced, he made 10,000 attempts, and he viewed it not as 9,999 failures, but that many data points where each one informed the next step. So to conclude on these approaches, I recommend that people really look at what they perceive as a failure and reframe it into an opportunity for growth.
I love that. And just even the visual of the stepping stones, of each trial, again, may not have had the full end result you wanted, but there's an element in it that brings you closer to, where you want to be, even if you're not just there yet.
Yeah.
That's just such a kind way also to think about all this. I mean, I think we're so hard on ourselves sometimes, with these processes.
Yeah. And I have special approaches that I show my clients to really put this notion into practice in a loving and productive way.
I love that. I love that. Hey, for our attendees today, I'd love to hear what you want to be today. If you want to drop that into your chat, what would be on your to-be list? If you woke up this morning and wrote it, you can start from now. I love that. Those who work with me know, they've heard me say, I mean, I not only do a to-do list, I do a dream, kind of a wish list, as I call it, also. So I love the idea of kind of keeping a couple of lists, running side by side for some inspiration for sure. And not just tasks to do. And so not only, And I see them coming in, own and run an educational and art inspired farm. I love that, Stephanie. Thanks for sharing it. And for those of you, not only do you get the gift of, Amy's strategies and her trifecta that she's sharing with you today for a framework, but she's so generous that she is offering us a few spots for some of our participants today for a 45-minute free phone session to help get clear on your vision. She's, carved out some time. It's first come, first serve, though. She just only has a few limited slots that we're going to drop in, and they will be scheduled for this Monday and Tuesday. So if you are interested in securing one of them, we have the link here for you. And please, feel free to sign up for that. And,
Helen,
Mary saying thank you too. So, and thank you on behalf of all of us. That's such a generous gift.
my pleasure. One clarification, there's a few tomorrow, so they should sign up today.
Got it.
Yep.
Yes. So please, during the course of today's conversation, the link will be up here so that you can easily access it. Well, Amy, wow, you gave us a great start, and it's such a positive headspace that you put us in. And what I love about that positive headspace is it really opens us up to, I think, part of the conversation that sometimes feels overwhelming, which is the financial piece, for sure. So, thank you for that. And,
My pleasure.
And let's chat with Tara a little bit now about that financial piece. So, you are a financial expert, obviously, because of your work and, the spaces that you have, really, moved into because of your, extensive history, at your financial institution. I know that you meet so many women that either, want to be a business owner, trying to figure out how to make it happen. But, it's that financial component that sometimes, really scares people from taking that step forward. And we know it's so critical to get the right advice on that because it's truly foundational, for success. So tell us, what advice do you give women when they come to you asking that question?
Good question, Helen. So I have a couple pieces of advice. The first one would be embrace your passion, challenge yourself, and do work that you care about. Once you step onto your journey, you have to be completely dedicated to get your business off the ground. There will be people that will doubt you. Surround yourself with a good team that will help you push through any challenges that you face. Next is, don't be afraid to fail and take the risk. Step out of that comfort zone. As first-time entrepreneurs, you will make plenty of big and small mistakes, but why let that define you? Instead, turn those setbacks into opportunities and strengthen your business model and yourself. Roadblocks are unavoidable, right? So keep in mind what you're set to do and keep pushing towards that goal. Start before you're ready. Starting a new business is tough, right? So there's always going to be a part of it that you're unprepared for. There will be reasons to wait. Just don't do that. Start before you're ready. You'll learn along the way. And if you need help, you can ask. People usually want to help you when you're doing something difficult, like starting your own business. Next is networking. That's super important. So Women's Network is a great way to find mentors, role models, and it allows you to expand your business opportunity. Instead of seeing it as a competition, see what value you can add to their business and what they can bring to yours. And then also, when you rise into your career, you can pay it forward by being a mentor to someone who is just starting off. And I think finally, the most important piece of advice is having confidence in yourself and in your business. Confidence makes you more of an effective communicator, a strong leader, faster worker, and a more proactive entrepreneur. It can also help you deal with conflict, improve your communication skills, and embrace feedback. Women face many obstacles when starting a new business, but one major obstacle is imposter syndrome. It makes you second guess your decisions and feel full of anxiety. But just to remember that no one, not even yourself, should stand in the way when you believe what you're doing is worthwhile.
I love how so much of what you said is so reflective and connected to what Amy said too. And of course, the two of you are looking at this, from in some ways a different mindset, but clearly not so different, not so
Right.
different in terms of taking on kind of the mental and, emotional side of the business and the financial piece. That's so interesting.
Of course, yes. You just have to always be willing and wanting and have that drive to become an entrepreneur.
Yes, yes, yes. And I love the idea of, embracing circles like this one, in terms of women's networking, to be able to support yourself and ask and have a safe space to learn. And then from there, as you evolve, to give back, this is such a key opportunity to have spaces like this for that. And, I'm also thinking about what you just said about, and it's, good to hear, right, about that there's no right time, go, move forward. Because I think sometimes, from the financial perspective, especially, I mean, obviously we know that there's certain pieces you should be thinking through. But it's good to be a reminder that on the emotional end and also on the financial end, that, there's never going to be like this perfect moment that, like, all the checks are in place, for you to move forward. That, part of that, you just have to, jump in.
You have to take the leap of faith and just go in.
So we've got some folks, let's say, that are ready to take that leap of faith, Tara. What are some of the next steps from a financial perspective when you're, coaching folks on your end of the work? What do you think are really necessary steps in making sure that we execute a successful start and, set ourselves up for a successful business venture?
Sure. There's a few steps. The first one would be, I would say, is conduct market research. It's imperative to execute a successful business. You need to gather the information on businesses that are similar to yours. Once you gather that information, you can find a way to make your business unique and then stand out compared to other like businesses. Then write a business plan. Your business plan is your foundation of your business. It's a roadmap for how you're going to structure, run, and grow your business. You're going to use it to convince people that working with you or investing in your company is a smart choice. Next, you would want to figure out how you're going to fund your business. Your business plan will help you figure out how much money you will need to structure a business. But if you don't have that amount on hand, you will need to either raise the money or borrow the capital. After you figure out the business plan, then the most important part is to find the business location. Whether you're setting up brick and mortar business or launching an online store, the choices you make could affect your taxes, your legal requirements, and revenue. Then I would say, once you pick that perfect name, perfect location, it's time to make it legal and protect that brand. You're going to want to register with the federal government to obtain that employer identification number. So once you get that EIN number, it's time to open up that business checking account. And then once you open up the business checking account, that will help you with your day-to-day operations of your new business.
That sure is a great list to kind of get us thinking, especially for those of us that haven't jumped into the space yet. So many questions come to mind as I'm thinking, through this list. In terms of market research, right? And in terms of the business planning, what are some of the resources that TD has to help with some of these steps, that you're talking about? What I know that, there's so much connected to your women's network and, to your, so many opportunities for folks to engage in. But, what do you all offer that can help with some of this? Because, it's a great list, but if, you might want to need a little bit more help where to go with them.
Sure. You should usually speak with a financial go to your financial institute, and at least with TD, we have a whole bunch of products and services for our new and existing businesses. So with a business plan, we do have, we can help you write your business plan. We can help you opening up the checking and savings accounts, merchant services, your payroll services, your wires and ACHs, and most importantly, your business credit cards, your business loans, and your lines of credit. By having a relationship with your banker, we are willing to be on your side and work and be able to get your business up and running. So it's great to have that relationship. And then also we can help you with all those steps to help you have a successful business.
So, I mean, it's so wonderful to know that, you know, there are people like you in the community attached to our financial institutions that are kind of your local cheerleader, you know, in this financial space. I mean, you know, you come and, you know, you have to get all that stuff done, but, you know, you all, you know, really know the nitty gritty, you know, of the different steps and the different pieces. So that's so helpful to have someone that can guide you in that way. You know, my question is, does everyone who come in, you know, automatically fit the bill, you know, to be able to, you know, have access to all these opportunities? You know, what is it that you all, you know, what's the process, you know, to start that? And, you know, what do you look at, you know, when these requests come in to kind of confirm that they're viable so that our business entrepreneurs that are dreaming over here with us today, you know, can get their heads into that space?
Sure. So what we're looking for is to making sure that you do have a business or you are starting off with a business, but most importantly, if you are applying for a loan or which a lot of businesses need funding, right? So before you are submitting a formal loan request, chances are you spend a lot of time preparing, deciding how much money you're going to need, how you're going to use the funds, and what kind of loan is best for your business. Insider information, lenders use the 5 C's of credit to help you make that decision if you are looking for that business line of credit or loan. So even if you don't need the loan immediately, developing the 5 C's of credit can help you prepare for your business for success. So the 5 C's consist of, the first one that we're looking for is character. That more specifically refers to the credit history when a borrower's reputation, when it's the borrower's reputation or track record for repaying debt. This information often is determined by the review of the credit bureau report, which allows and shows both your personal and credit history. So if your business is newer, your credit history is more heavily relied upon. So it's important to periodically review your credit history. The second C is capacity. Capacity looks at your ability to repay a loan by assessing your debt to income ratio and other factors. Lenders can make a judgment as to whether you have the capacity to meet your loan obligations. Provide those numbers, effectively manage your cash flow, and demonstrate that that you have the means to successfully repay that loan. The third C that we look for is capital. Capital is the amount of money or personal funds an owner invests in the company. So the bank is going to evaluate your cash position of your company and the ability to liquidate other assets to support your loan obligation if your business hits a rough spot. The fourth C is conditions. So conditions refers to the purpose of the loan, as other terms for the loan itself, like loan amount, your interest rate. And it also takes into consideration how the success of your business could affect things like outside of the control, like your economic or industry factors. Great example is COVID-19. Having a well thought out business plan that identifies the risks and mitigations helps the bank understand that you are prepared to address the challenges. And the last one is collateral. That refers specifically to what assets your business is willing to collateralize in order to secure that loan. Some forms of collateral include receivables, your real estate, inventory, and vehicles. Small business owners are often asked to provide a personal guarantee in the event it's unable to pay for your loan. And then lenders will feel more secure in their lending decision when they have hard assets to secure in the event you default on your loan. It's important to just mention that you necessarily don't need to have the top scores in those 5 C's of credit, but having the right balance will help you be a good candidate for a business loan.
Well, those 5 C's definitely help, give perspective on, what's needed. And, you mentioned so many different pieces in there for sure. And, one of the ones that I wrote down, because I know we hear it a lot from business owners in terms of their loans and some of the challenges is that credit history piece. So if someone needs to review their credit history, or someone on here has a business and wants to do that, what is the process to review your credit history?
Just go on Experian or any of the 3 credit bureau reports, and just periodically look and make sure that everything does look correct. Sometimes they do make errors, and that will definitely affect not only your personal, but especially when you are trying to go in for that business loan, you have everything, all your ducks in a row before we review it and go through underwriting. So that's crucial. You definitely sign up, or even just have those alerts for your credit history. Just check it out on a monthly basis.
That's great. That's great advice, and for everyone to think of. So you mentioned raising the capital for your business earlier when you were talking about kind of the plan there. And obviously, our focus here are female entrepreneurs, and not only female entrepreneurs, but we know especially for women, and even more so for women of color, there's a lot more to deal with in terms of challenges very often, to navigate, to get into this space. I'd love to hear from both of you, your perspectives on navigating the obstacles that can pop up for women and for women of color, whether it's, related to gender bias, whether, you mentioned imposter syndrome. And the reality of it is, I mean, just, systemic racism that, very often, folks end up having to deal with. How can we navigate some of those when we're kind of trying to get in that kind of personal wellness mindset of the business and the financial mindset of the business? Because we know, unfortunately, that, some of them may be ahead for us. Amy, you want to start?
Okay, sure. So there are always going to be obstacles out there, and some of the key things I'd like to comment on. First of all, regarding gender bias, I don't think I'm an expert in terms of addressing the systemic issues, and you also mentioned racism. Those sound like whole separate webinars. But in terms of gender bias, what I'd like to offer is how women can show up in the face of bias being out there in general. And the primary thing that comes to my mind is the notion of taking and claiming your seat at the table as an expert, and doing so with confidence, which also speaks a little bit to imposter syndrome. And a couple of supporting points is, number one, women have a tendency to apologize more often than is necessary. And by this, I certainly mean always owning your actions. And if there is a wrong, you want to, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. If there's a wrong, you want to make a repair and not be defensive, but don't apologize for things that are outside of you. And then the second point is to be direct and clear in your communication, and not at the expense of being gracious and compassionate. And then I have two other points. One is around the imposter syndrome. I encourage people, women in particular, to build their confidence by not going into what I call comparison despair. It's a very normal and common thing to constantly compare ourselves to others and to think that we don't deserve to be doing this, or we're not competent. And one of the worst things we can do is to compare ourselves. There are only two ways we should be thinking about any kind of comparison. The first is when we choose a mentor or someone whom we admire and we're willing to learn from this person, but not compare, and learn how we can take some cues from them, but then deliver our own version of confidence and success. And then lastly, really, we should only be comparing us versus ourselves, our personal best, where we were before, and how have I grown, and in what ways can I continue to grow into a confident and competent business owner or person out in the world. And lastly, I mentioned it before, and Tara spoke about having a team. Get help, not for if it gets hard and when you have, and there are obstacles, but when. And it's great to have it already built in, but it's never too late to get help and support from people like Tara, from people like myself and other professionals, whether it be attorneys or other experts who can support you in creating a successful business with a healthy mindset.
It's so important to ask for help, and know that, here we've got two experts in our community, that are, one's waiting in Westwood for you. The other one gave you a link to sign up for. I mean, they're here to support you. And, through the YW's network and others that I know that you'll all, be connected to, keep in mind, so you can keep adding to that list in your network. So Tara, what's your thought on that question?
So Amy actually hit a lot of my points, but like she said, talk to family, your friends, support groups. Don't be afraid to talk about it and find ways to manage your feelings. Accept the failure too. It's impossible to be perfect, right? So the sooner you make peace with that fact, the sooner you will be able to pick up yourself and learn from your mistakes. And along then, like Amy said, don't compare yourself to others. Instead, use the achievements of others and then use it as motivation for your own journey. And then celebrate those small wins. Embrace your strengths. Know what you deserve and the recognition you receive. By celebrating the small wins will result in a boost of your confidence. That hopefully will overcome the imposter syndrome.
Those are all great pieces of advice. And, it's, I think the fact that you guys hit on so much of the same stuff, I think just, again, really, really reminds us kind of how much all of this intersects, how much all of this intersects, and that, it's that space in between, these places that, it's so important to kind of just, stay focused, because that's what's going to give you that kind of confidence and, that space to be able to dream and grow your business idea into, that vision of what you really want it to be, for sure. I dropped in the chat so folks can know that we are going to slowly move ourselves into a space of taking questions from those of you that are with us today. So please feel free to drop any in while folks are thinking. I do want to ask, because I know Tara mentioned it, and obviously there's no getting away from the pandemic, right? I mean, talk about an unplanned time. And, I think that when we talk about a plan, it's theoretically, right, it's to be able to be ready, right? But sometimes, it's like being ready for anything, because anything, when you are a business owner, you never know what's going to present itself. And obviously what we've learned from this time is that, we are resilient beings. Even, I mean, we quickly saw, especially business owners, and the word of the pandemic is pivot, right? We quickly saw people having to quickly shift and change and do things differently in order to be able to still be during the time. And some did not make it, from a business perspective. Some of those businesses ended up becoming one of those stepping stones for us, and not kind of the end of where we're going. But how do you plan for the unplanned? How, I know, what a question, but it's just, you brought it up, and, as folks are thinking too, it just made me wonder, because I think, are people shell shocked after this to be like, what if something like this happens again?
I think you just have to, like you said, plan for the unknown. COVID-19 really hit us hard, especially with small businesses. But having that plan, like when you create that business plan, in addition, finding just the what ifs, like COVID-19 happened, right? So just have a plan B and a plan C, and always just make sure that you have enough funds. How would you change your business model if you had to go virtual again, or shut down your actual location and go somewhere else? So I think it's just planning, always thinking of ahead. And I think COVID-19 really hit us hard, but at the same time, for new entrepreneurs, now they do have that in their back of their mind, COVID-19, how you would overcome these kinds of obstacles going forward.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just want to build on what Tara said. Absolutely having a plan for uncertainty is helpful, yet there's always going to be that part of uncertainty that we can't predict. So having that growth mindset ready for you to brainstorm and think expansively in the face of that uncertainty and then new condition that arises can help us implement the plans we had in place and also find the new solutions for the things we didn't foresee.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Yeah. Cause I mean, obviously we hope we're never going to end up back quite, where we were, but it really did put us, especially our entrepreneurs and our small business owners, who really, are the, when I think about small business owners, creativity is really like at the core of everything that they do. But you really had to dig deep into that creative space, for sure during that time. And, I'm guessing gain some new muscle in that area for sure. Well, let's see. We've got a comment here from Stephanie, who said that she feels like, her dream business of opening a small farm, is really outside of her box. It's overwhelming to think about, from a business, person to being a farm owner. And I, especially, from those of us, in this area, maybe other parts of New Jersey are more farm centric, but in this part of New Jersey, we're, probably more city centric, in some ways. So that definitely is a different space. I want to do the thing that I've done as a hobby and a volunteer for many years, but, how can I let go of a good job to get into that unknown, scary place? Can I do it? Can I afford it? Can I wreck my sensible retirement plans? So, and I'm guessing, for Stephanie's questions that she's asking herself, I mean, even if it's not a farm, all business owners are asking those same questions, right? How do I, take that leap? What advice do both of you have for someone who's, thinking and struggling and with those questions. They clearly, whether it's a farm or, something else, I mean, those are the questions.
Well, absolutely. I'm thankful for this question on behalf of the group, right? You said, Helen, that
Yes.
any new business owner or someone who even has an idea is asking similar questions. So absolutely, from the perspective of your ability, if this dream is in you, you've been called to this, you have a passion for this. It's really normal to worry about letting go, but you see that fear is telling you that you're at the edge of the life you've known up until now. And I encourage you to create that vision and then talk to a financial person to help you discover if you can afford it. And there are ways in my system of dream building, for example, where you can build a bridge to your dream. You could build a plan for how to know when to quit your job. Do you do it now? Do you do it later? Of course, we live in the land of space and time and have rent to pay and food to buy. So we want to be responsible. But in terms of your conviction and your potential, you can absolutely do it. And, talking to someone like Tara, I'm sure would be helpful, and someone to help with the mindset piece to move forward in the face of uncertainty could help too.
Yeah, and Tara, what are your thoughts on that one?
So I would also say, go talk to a banker, see financially where you are at on your personal end, if you can afford to quit that great job of yours and start. But at the same time, it goes back to that piece of advice, like start before you're ready. Just do your homework, speak to other people in that field and see where they started, how they overcame the same obstacles probably where you are. And then just, talk to us and see what we can do, get a business plan together, and see if you can make your dreams come true.
I love that. I love that. Well, as happens, the time goes quickly, and there's so much packed in, to these wellness, financial wellness hours. And I know, I've been taking notes, and I know others have been as well. Before we leave each other, I wanted to give each of you Amy and Tara, an opportunity just to say a last word, as we're closing up. And while they're doing that, I just want to remind those that joined us today that we're dropping into the chat a link for the survey. We really do appreciate you taking the time to share a few words. We're also going to have in here the links for you for TD Bank and for amyminkoffcoaching.com. And just a reminder as well that if you want to access Amy's very generous offer, the link is here for you to sign up for that as well. So Amy, we'll start with you just to kind of keep going back and forth. Tell us what's some parting thoughts as we get ready to go back on our way and on our day.
Yes, well, I'm going to go back to what I started with, which is to make the decision to act in service of your vision and do it afraid. Mm-hmm. That's where the magic is, at the edge of the life you've known up until now.
Love that. I love that. Tara, what about you?
To second that with Amy is don't be afraid. If you want to be an entrepreneur, go for it. There's never a great time, but today is a great time to start planning. And all financial institutions are always going to be on your side. So visit your banks, and they're rooting for you.
That's great. Well, so much inspiration for sure. And before we went live and had all of you join us, our panelists, we were talking about Amy had gone for a walk before we started. Tara's going for a walk, when we finish. I encourage you all to, I'm so glad that you made the space for yourself in your day. When we stop, take just a few more minutes for yourself to really sit and think about all that you've learned and all, that Amy and Tara shared with you. I mean, they were so generous with sharing such great you know, such great information, you know, some great dreaming tips. You know, they really pumped us up with some inspiration. It's important to kind of just take a few more moments for yourself before you kind of connect to the rest of your day, which I know is waiting for you probably right past the screen that you're looking at. It's calling you for sure. But Tara said it, there's no better day than today. And, you know, take the first step by hitting the link and you may be spending some time with Amy, or, you know, just kind of, you know, starting to make that to-be list, or a little bit of kind of sketching on your business plan, and some of those steps that Tara shared, and, you know, get yourself going in the direction of your dreams. That's what today is all about, is really embracing and, you know, remembering that, you know, finance and wellness, you know, are really interrelated and connected. And, you know, as a, you know, that we learned from the Wizard of Oz, you have it all inside of you. Just take a few moments to really, you know, get yourself focused so you can get on that path and get those stepping stones in front of you. So from that, thank you so much to our panelists again for joining us. You can go visit Tara in person by just popping into the Westwood location where she spends so much of her time and gives back to the community. And we're so grateful that we have her there as a business leader. So you can visit her at TD Bank. To Amy, you know, she's in lots of different places and spaces, you know, that she's, you know, sharing her magic, but visit her website for sure. And, you know, even more directly, hit that link and make an appointment to spend some time with her very, very soon, so that you can get kind of crystallized on, you know, where your vision is and where you want to go. We also, again, have the links in here for the survey, so you can give us your feedback on today's event and also on other conversations you'd like to have. I want to make sure that I, again, thank both TD Bank and Barris for supporting this event. Again, this and our speakers for volunteering their time. You know, there's a magic that happens when the community comes together to support women business owners. And, you know, we know that our creativity, our tenacity, you know, our vision really is changing the landscape of our community. And, you know, you're all helping us bring that, you know, bring that out in front of us. So thank you so much for that. And before we leave each other today, I want to make sure that you know you can sign up for some additional support for your business through our Eureka program. We'll have the link right here. Our wonderful Alicia will be able to work with you. It's a great opportunity. That's a virtual platform for you to just have access to a lot of support for your business. There is no charge, and we are welcoming people through the end of 2022 to access, be part of our current cohort for women. And especially we want to support you know, all our women, and especially our non-white women, in terms of helping them start and keep and build strong businesses. We also want to let you know, Tara mentioned it, and it's a great opportunity for you to be thinking about, you know, business planning. Key in your business is business writing. We're going to have an upcoming workshop on that as well. So stay connected to our social media so that you can, and our website, so that you can register for that when it comes. And also starting on October 12th, we have a virtual 3-part journaling workshop called Your Story. We've done a few others in the series, and the feedback is just tremendous about how it helps people really, and helps our women like discover their authentic voices, and creating a space and an opportunity to journal and have that safe space for that. So we, again, no charge. We do encourage you that the links are here for so many of these programs we're talking about. And watch closely, because coming soon is YW Tech. We're grateful for a grant that we received that's supporting our workforce development program for all women to be able to advance their digital skills, and with that, help give them more career options. So please stay connected so that you can get linked up for that. So much going on at the YW, and we hope you join us to celebrate at our gala on November 1st at the Westmount Country Club. That's where we celebrate all the great work that we're doing all year long, and some amazing people who are living our mission every day in action, and all of our wonderful sponsors. We all come together to celebrate, so we hope you can join us there as well. Have a great day. So much to inspire you from here. Take a few more moments for yourself to crystallize it and go forward with power. Thank you so much, Tara. Thank you so much, Amy, for
Thank you.
giving us so much to work off of. Bye, everyone.
My
Have a
pleasure.
great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.